Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Big Bold You, a show that is designated to teach and reach and inspire everyone out there. And yes, I do mean you, to play bigger in your life. I promise you that it is so much easier to play bigger in your life than you think it is. And we're going to help you every episode do that. We really want to inspire you to be bolder, which means you have to step out of your comfort zone. You have to do things that you're not used to doing and you're a little bit scared of doing. And that's the only way you're going to get unscared is by doing it, so you can become the best version of you. I believe we live in a world where there is a war between good and evil, and the only way evil wins is when good people don't do enough. So not only are we going to have incredible guests every week, we're going to have topics that are going to lift you, to inspire you, to educate you. And we also want to create a winning life team for each and every one of you to be able to plug in so you know who to go to for certain questions. And I'm telling you, I got somebody really good for you today. Suzanne Johns. So excited to have Suzanne. You know, our topic today is real estate investing. Is it for you? And Suzanne is the managing broker and owner of Dallas Real Estate Investments, and we're just thrilled to have you on the show.
Well, thank you.
And here's her website, Dallas, and here's another great picture of Suzanne. Tell everybody what your website is so they can go to it.
DallasREI.com.
All right, so here you go. All right, so you are a badass, Suzanne. Suzanne is a badass.
I don't know about that.
Which is the book that we are reading in April and May. You are a badass, and I've got a badass here on the show, and I want you to tell everybody, first of all, I'm crazy in love with you because I think you're so real. I think you're so authentic, and she's so flippin' smart, but you speak language that everybody can understand.
Well, yeah, that's a major objective because not everybody can get into real estate just so easy. It's like, oh, I can go do this. Or you've seen it on HGTV.
Exactly.
And so now I'm a pro because I've watched it there. Oh, no.
Or maybe they've read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and so they...
Oh, yeah. Or they've been to that seminar.
Yeah, exactly. But before we get into the topic, tell everybody about who you are, where you came from. Are you married? Do you have kids? I mean, I want to know a little bit about you first.
I'm a native Texan, so I do tell it like it is. It doesn't get any more real than right here. But I moved all over the place with my mom and dad being with Mobil Oil, so we moved 19 times before I was 20. And I went to college in California, and I'm supposed to be a school teacher.
Is that because that's what your mom and dad told you?
My mom was a teacher. My sister's a teacher. My grandmother was a teacher. So
but remember back in the day,
that's what you're supposed to be.
So, but we're probably about the same age. And back in the day, like my mom was a teacher. My oldest sister was a teacher. It was the same thing where, listen, if you were a girl, that's, you could be a nurse, you could be a teacher.
That's right.
I mean.
So I have a teaching degree. And
so is that the first thing you did in college?
Well, yeah, that's what I did in college. And my degree is in that. But I went to, mistakenly, by accident and fortuitously, went to a real estate seminar with a friend, and she promised me that we'd go to the bar after where all the guys were.
Oh, so that would get you there, Suzanne.
I am in. Take me. So I went and I listened for about 2.5 hours, and this guy just resonated with me. And I was like, I really am interested in this. I wonder how you do it.
Right.
Nobody in my world had ever even considered real estate. And so I talked to the instructor after. He says, well, you have to get a license. And I said, well, okay. I'll take the classes and do that. So I did. And then I went back to him and I said, now how do I learn how to do this? And he said, well, you have to mentor with someone. And I went, okay, well, I don't know anybody. So he said, well, I have a friend in town. She's a commercial realtor, and she'll help you out.
How old were you at this time?
I was 21.
Okay, so to me, I think that's phenomenal that at that age you got that advice, because in my opinion, that's with everything I've ever done in my life, I've gone and I found somebody who's done it before, and I just say, tell me what to do. Tell me how to do it, and then you got to be coachable. And obviously, that's exactly what you were.
Well, I was young and dumb at the time. And
you weren't dumb, Suzanne, because
really,
you got
really, that was the deal. I went in and talked to this lady, and I said, "Can I come hang out?" And she said, "Sure." And back then, they didn't have phones or pagers. They had the kind you dial.
Right.
So she handed me a phone book and said, "Call some people." So
I mean, literally. You sit down and you just opened up the phone book and you just started dialing for dollars.
I did, but then somebody walked in the office and I was like, they wanted to see some apartments, which I was like, okay, sure. How do you do that? So she gave me a list and I went out and showed him, and one of the ones that he showed, which I have a picture of it, it's the white apartments that I gave you a picture of. It's my very first apartments that I sold. He happened to have the ones that I lived in there on campus. And so I knew the management company, I knew the people that lived there, I knew all of the maintenance guys. So I walked him around and showed him everything and led him into units, and got to show everything he wanted. And we walked back to the office, and I said, well, thank you very much. I'm so glad you came. I didn't know to ask for the sale. Nobody taught me any sales techniques. So he said, well, I think I'd like to buy that white one. And I went, oh, now what?
Hold on one second. Hold on one second.
Wait. And so I went back and I said, well, how do you do that? And my broker says, well, you need to write a contract. And I said, that'd be great, except I don't have one. So we had a title company there in the building, and I ran over there and said, can you help me? And they said, sure, we'll write it up. Bring him over. So they wrote it up, and I sold my first apartments, and I went to closing, and they handed me a check, in an envelope.
Right.
And so I went out to my car, and nobody had ever told me how much you make when you do real estate. I assumed, man, I'm going to make $1,000 because this apartment complex was $1.5 million. And said, well, this will pay my car payment for a year, so I am in. And I went out and opened the envelope, and it was for $45,000.
Oh my gosh, Suzanne.
Well, I about flipped out. I'm not near after I passed out in the car, and I'm like, I need to go back and tell somebody they made the wrong check. They gave me the wrong check, and if I cash this, I'll be in big trouble. So went back in and I said, y'all, I'm sorry, but I think you gave me the wrong check. And she says, well, let me see it. And she goes, no, honey, that's your commission. I went, oh my God, I'm doing this forever. So that was the beginning.
And you didn't look back.
I did not look back. I'm like, oh my God, this is the best thing ever.
But you know what? A couple things. Number one, I think that this is what happens with people is you had gotten your teaching degree because that's what you thought you were supposed to do.
Oh, absolutely.
But somebody said, hey, Suzanne, come with me. And you said yes. I think it's so important to say yes. Life is like a maze. There's one right way in, there's one right way out. And when you hit a dead end or you hit a wall, it's just redirecting you, because when you find what excites you, you find what you love, your passion, you know it. So you knew it right away. You got connected with a mentor, which I think that's so vitally important. We need mentors. We need coaches. We need people that are going to wrap our arms around, ourselves, and then we need to wrap our arms around other people, and we need to help bring people along the way.
That's why I train people, because there's so much misinformation out there, and it's hard to understand how there are so many people that are not. They do not have good intention,
right, when
they're getting somebody into an investment. And in my opinion, because of the fact that I came from, basically a poor household. We weren't dirt poor, but we didn't have a lot of money.
Right.
But every dollar was important. And so I feel like when someone has earned some money, they need to be able to keep it as best I can. And so I need to be a good steward of their money.
Exactly.
That's so.
But that's
so
called
important.
integrity and character.
Well, thank God I had
Yes.
great background to come from that generated that.
But, I 100% agree with you that there are a lot of people out there in every industry that they don't have the best intentions.
No.
And when you don't know what you don't know.
That's
You
right.
can't see what you can't see. You connect with someone and you connect with the wrong person and they will lead you astray. They'll manipulate you and you don't even realize it till a while has passed. So it's vitally important finding somebody like you. I'm sure you have so many stories.
Oh, I have so many horror stories that I've heard that it just makes me nauseous.
And we may get to hear one or two of them. We don't want her to get sick though. But what I want to know is, when did you make the switch to, okay, you're making this great money, you're doing commercial real estate, and Jason, you got to let's show some of the buildings, some of the properties that Suzanne has closed, because I think it's very impressive. But then I also want to talk about the investing. I want to know how and when you made that switch. So tell everybody what this is.
This is in Newport Beach, California. We lived out in Newport Beach. My husband and I decided we wanted to live at the beach for a while, so we spent 15 years out there. And I sold investments and then second homes and vacation homes to wealthy individuals coming in. We called them snowbirds.
Right.
But that was condos there in Newport Beach, right over the Newport Harbor. So those sold
Gorgeous.
were $26.4 million for those.
Those are
it
gorgeous.
wasn't too bad.
Yeah.
Nice view, but they needed a lot of work. But that was okay. We were able to work on that.
And was that client, was that an investor?
Yes, that was invested.
Okay, so I want to know how that process happened for you.
That had to do with, I'm a connector, and I'm strong in believing that you're only your next best introduction to the greatest opportunity you've ever had. And so I'm always out there, I'm always meeting people and asking questions and seeing the most important thing that I do is listen. I want to hear what your story is. I want to see what your hot points are. And then I can think about, well, I know about this or I know about that, because I do nothing but search for property all day long.
Well, one thing that I think is amazing about you is we met at eWoman Network. So I'm executive managing director for the Dallas chapter. You walked in and you have been one of the most incredible, most effective, efficient connectors. And it's not just connecting for real estate. If somebody is looking for a digital marketing person, you're going to connect them to the people that you know in that field.
Absolutely. That's so important.
You serve 24/7. I don't know if you sleep.
Well,
I don't know if she sleeps, but you're always serving, and what comes around goes around, and that's why people have come to you and they're attracted to you for that just the character and your knowledge and who you are. But I want to know, for people that are thinking about real estate investing, and
the very first thing you want to do is to sit down and go over what they feel like they'd like to achieve. I mean, everybody says, oh, I want to be a millionaire.
Right.
Well, maybe you don't. Maybe you just want to be comfortable.
Right.
And so we need to set up the strategy and the kind of real estate investments you like.
Right.
I have some that like apartments. I have some that like income producing duplexes, triplexes, fourplexes, eightplexes, 16plexes. But then you've also got some that like fast food restaurants, because that's a very solid, stable, passive income. So that works too. And then I have, one of the biggest keys is to work with really good banks. And I have,
that's good.
One of the biggest assets that I have is to be able to ferret out the best commercial banks that are willing to work with my people and set up good programs to get them into the real estate that they want.
So when somebody sits there and they say, so maybe it's you, maybe you're thinking, I would like to get into real estate investing, but I don't have the first clue to doing it. And the answer is, you find somebody that knows what they're doing.
Yes.
And then you have a conversation. And in my opinion, this is really my Ask Jen's question. My opinion, you talk to a couple people, and then you don't just talk to the person.
Absolutely.
You want to talk to their clients as well, so you get a feel. But somebody cannot have a clue. They just know, listen, I want to start investing. How much money does somebody need to have?
Usually, if you're just going to go in on a small scale, about 50,000 is
Okay.
something reasonable.
Okay.
But we are going to go in the outlying areas of Dallas, probably to the north, preferably, or over towards Weatherford and Joshua. They've got a lot of activities going on. So I listen to that information, and then I try to put them where I know that I can best serve them, that they can also. Most importantly, for somebody starting out like that, we want to flip that or churn that property every 12 to 18 months.
Okay,
So
that's
that
good
I
to
can
know.
pull that equity that we get from that,
Right.
and then put on a new loan, and then use that equity to move over. And we'll use a 1031 exchange. I'm 1031 exchange certified. So we'll use a 1031 exchange to protect the asset from IRS.
Okay, so this is what I'm living, and if you're watching and you want to ask Suzanne some questions, I got my phone right here. Ask away, because this is some really important stuff. So to me, the first thing is, if you're interested in stepping into this world, you want to make sure you have got $50,000 on you.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
usually the best thing. And,
All right.
and you could also do a self-directed IRA or a self-directed 401k. So it just needs to be something. And then we'll go through all of the assets that I have available that I've found, along the way here in the last 2-3 months. And then I do an asset sheet and an investment sheet. So it shows you your return on investment and everything that you would need to know.
I'm getting excited about this, Suzanne, because it sounds like all I got to do is bring you the money.
Pretty much.
And you're going to, but that's what I'm grinning and smiling to myself, because I'm thinking about, even like in the stock market, you think about other investing, a lot of times people want to do it themselves. In my opinion, this is something you don't want to do by yourself.
Yeah,
I mean, that's just my opinion. I don't know.
There are a lot of meetup groups and all that are teaching the buzzword, which is syndication right now.
What is that?
Real estate syndication actually was under the purview of the SEC, with the Securities and Exchange Commission, for years and years. You need an SEC Series 22 to actually do real estate syndication, which is to pool a bunch of people's money together and then purchase a real estate asset.
I don't know if that,
Oh, it works really well. I did it for quite a few doctors here in town.
Okay, so syndication is you're pulling people
you're
together,
pulling
you're
your
pulling
money.
funds together. Okay.
Everybody has a percentage of what they get
Okay.
as far as the investment return, so that if you put in 10%, you get 10% out.
Okay.
It's an equal change, and there's a third-party administrator for the money.
All
I
right.
never touch the money. There are people here that now there is an SEC loophole, which is the 504 C, I think it's a 504, or 506. Anyway, so you can do it without having a license, but I'm just saying, do your research before you get involved.
Okay. So syndication, am I saying it right? It is a viable option.
Yes, it is.
It's a viable option,
Yeah.
but you really need to be with someone who knows what they're doing.
Yes,
I think
absolutely.
you kind of need to, I don't know about y'all, but if I'm going to do any investing, I want to be with somebody that knows what they're doing in whatever area, because, real estate isn't the only way to invest your money.
Oh, absolutely.
But I think that if you really want to have a diversified portfolio, real estate needs to be a part of that.
Well, obviously, because I do that, that's what I'm comfortable saying. Yes, that's true. But real estate is a full contact sport. Let's just get that out there. So if you think you want to just have somebody handle stocks, bonds, annuities, and life insurance, that is an option you probably should consider.
Right.
Because you're not safe. If you don't feel safe doing it any other way, and that's okay. There are folks like that, and that's why there's financial advisors that do great.
Right.
Because that's what they do.
Okay, so if somebody says, all right, look, I got 50 grand, or I've got 25, I've got somebody else that has 25, they come to you, they sit down, and they say, okay, Suzanne, we're interested, this is what we want to do. And let's just say it's one person. One person invests 50 grand, you're going to flip that in 12 to 18 months. What can they expect?
When we flip that, I want to be able to pull out the 50 and put at least another 25 with it.
I'm
so
liking this.
that's giving you almost 50% return on your investment.
In 12 to 18 months.
In 12 to 18 months. So that's the objective. And then we go into another one where we're going to use that money. We're not going to pull it out because then it becomes what's called a taxable event.
Okay.
So we don't pull that. We're going to use that and put it into the next one, which then moves you into another price point.
Right.
Which moves that up, and then you're able to pull that out, and it goes and it multiplies. And since I've been doing this for 41 years, that's how I have millionaires, because they have been patient and they have done exactly as they
so this is what I think is so awesome for everybody that is watching. Suzanne has created 49 millionaires with your clients. 49 people you've helped earn $1 million through investing in real estate. So, which I think is amazing. And that's more than one a year, because you've been doing this for 41 years. But I don't think you've probably been doing real estate investing for 41 years. You've been doing, I mean, how long have you been doing the actual investing?
You know, I've been working with investors pretty much
From the beginning?
From the beginning,
Okay,
because
okay.
commercial really is investing.
Investors. Okay,
Yeah,
all right.
that's what they are.
So more than one a year you've helped. I mean, and obviously
I've had some that have been all in one, like 3 or 4 in a year. And
well,
then
that's
I'll have
what I
yeah.
want to know is, I mean, realistically, how long does it take somebody, out of the 49 people, how long did it take people to get to that point?
5 years.
You see, that's so incredible. I mean, that's so incredible, because it's for you to be able to say that right off your tongue. Several of your clients, I'm sure, were able to do that in 5 years. And man, they love you, don't they?
I hope so, because I've got some coming out of California now that are going to be moving their money here to Dallas. So number 50 and 51 are going to be happening this year, July 31st.
That's awesome, Suzanne. So for people that are just getting into this, what do you recommend? I mean, what are some things that people should know?
First of all, look at my website, take a look and see what we do, and then just give me a call or text me. I respond to that as well, and we can have a conversation. No obligation whatsoever. If it's not something that works for you, or you don't like me, that's okay. That's one of the things that I really I appreciate, is that I have one investor. In fact, I just worked with I closed him 3 weeks ago. He's already called me and said, I'd really like to get into something else. What do we have? So, and he's going to he's doing something with his brother. First of all, if you are going to do something with other people, you need to make sure you like them.
Right.
I don't care if it's family. You still need to like them.
But I think that is really important, because people think that, oh gosh, we'll do this, and then you turn out, something goes south, it's just messy.
One of the hardest things to do and understand, even when you're family members, is money creates enemies quickly. So, and I will be the first to point that out. When you sit down and say, well, I've had 3 siblings get with me, and they were the ones that bought the apartments in Newport Beach. And I said, well, first of all, we're going to talk about this for a second. And secondly, do you have a will? I want to know that all of you have your will set up, so that it rolls to each other one if something falls apart, so that it goes to the 3 of you and not to your heirs first.
Right.
So it's something that I instruct.
But that's such great advice, because again, you don't know what you don't know. You're the expert. You know all this information, and I think that's some really sound counsel to make sure before you get in, because isn't it sad, but money does make people go crazy.
It makes crazy enemies.
It makes good people go crazy, and it makes crazy people sometimes even crazier.
I have a couple of sisters that haven't spoken for years. They both have made money, but they don't speak.
Isn't that sad? It's sad.
There's nothing I can do about that.
No, there's nothing.
That's a family dynamic, and we've had countless, but I have to speak to each one separately.
Right.
I cannot do group calls. It's crazy. But.
So what is some of the things that you love about what you do?
It's a challenge every day. Every day is different. I look for different things for different people. I have a gentleman right now that he and his son are going to buy acreage and do a game lease.
Oh, how
here
fun.
south of Dallas, which is fabulous. But that's something completely different. But it's another 1031, because as long as something makes money, I can move it from another investment. And so we'll be able to push that into a land
Right.
deal instead. I have one that's buying fast food restaurants, and he wants to lease it back to the building owner. That way he's got a passive investment for those leases are 12 to 15 years, sometimes 20. So he's got investments, good investments for the next 12 years minimum.
Well, what I love, okay, so here are some of isn't this
Oh, that's the Taco Bell test kitchens.
Okay.
I sold those to Taco Bell. We bought a building and built, I had a contractor that was working with me, and they built all their test kitchens. Believe it or not, they bring in 20 people at a time to test all their new recipes.
Hey,
So that's what they do.
that'd be kind of a fun room to be in.
It was kind of cool.
Okay, you got to show the bachelor house, Jason. Show that bachelor house and tell everybody the story on that because it's gorgeous. And Jason, you know, we're just telling him he's moving and grooving over here. He's moving.
He's looking. There it is.
Look how gorgeous
yeah,
that is.
that's the bachelor house. That's up in Hollywood Hills. And that is, that was the first season 1 and season 2 that they used it for the Bachelor. I don't know what they use it for now, but that was an investment from Universal Pictures, and then they sold it to the Bachelor franchise.
And that's gorgeous. But so here's a couple things I love about what you've said already. Number one is, one of the things that you love about what you do is because it challenges you. And so obviously, you got to work hard. I mean, let's face it. You can't be successful if you're not going to put in some work. And as we were preparing for this, I said, Suzanne, is there anything you'd like to send over? And she said, sure. So she sent me all these great pictures of all this investment property and things that she's done. And then yesterday, I think, you sent me something over and she said, here's another little secret about me that you probably don't know. Show that secret about her, Jason. He's like, oh, yeah, I know what we're going to talk about. And when I saw this picture, it made perfect sense to me because I think this is just an indication of when you're at a certain age and you're willing to put in hard work and do things that other people aren't willing to do. There you are. So tell everybody.
Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders, years 78 through 80. That dates me, doesn't it? Last 2 years of Roger Staubach. I loved it. I got to be on the traveling show group, which is 12 women that are the dancers. And we went with Bob Hope on the USO tours, and we
is so amazing. That's so amazing. There you are. There now, is that the complete?
Yes.
That's a complete team, or is that just the traveling?
Team. No, that's the whole team.
Okay, so that's the whole team, and then out of that, there were 12.
Yes.
That traveled. And okay, so tell me how Bob Hope was.
Oh, he's the funniest thing ever. Oh my gosh! But his wife was funnier.
Oh, really?
Really?
Are you serious?
Yes, she should have been the one.
She should, but you know what? Listen, that was back in the day when women were not in front, and so yeah. But if it was now, she probably would be the
probably
comedian.
So, yeah.
So any stories of that you want to share with us?
Well, I got to drive a tank.
Oh, you did?
Yes. Unfortunately,
all by yourself?
I think I got a little sergeant in big trouble. He may have gone to the brig over that one, but I got to drive a tank.
Where were you?
I was in Guam.
Okay, so tell us about how that. Tell us how that happened, and tell us what it was like driving the tank.
Well, we just we were there doing a show, and a couple of us girls went over and started talking to some of the guys. They think that's a great idea.
Right. This is how it starts.
Yeah, and he was cute. He was really cute. And he was standing up on the treads of the tank, and he jumped down. And I said, "Gosh, that looked like a lot of fun." And I poured on the Texas accent, of course.
Of course.
And he's like, "Well, yes, ma'am. It sure is." And I said, "Well, golly, what's it like to sit in that?" And he goes, "Well, I probably could let you sit in it." I said, "Well, that'd be wonderful, and we could take some pictures doing that." And so, oh my gosh, that was the best. He was like that. Oh my gosh, this is forever. I'll remember this. So I got up and we took pictures, and I sat down in the driving seat, and I said, "What's it take how's this thing run anyway?" So we just pushed that button there, and I did. And off we went. Oh my gosh, that was
well.
His commanding officer was not
real happy about that.
Yeah,
but I just think it's amazing. You've lived a wonderful and great life, and you've helped so many people along the way, and you have so much love and energy and wisdom, and you're ready to help so many other people.
Absolutely.
You know, of everything, of all your different clients, and I know this is going to be difficult. There's not going to be just one, but is there a story of one or two clients that, you know, they came to you, they didn't know what they were doing, and you changed their lives because of the investing that you helped them do? I mean, anything that was just like, wow, you can't, I mean, transformational.
I think the one of the ones that I was most proud of, when we moved back to Dallas, I didn't know a soul. And so I was living in an apartment complex. We had a quad type of a situation. And one of the neighbors next to me was a doctor at the hospital down here right off of Stemmons. And he was always talking about that he didn't, number one, he made a lot of money. I'm like, well, that's interesting. I want to know more about that. And then he said, you know, I don't have anybody that takes care of paying my bills and stuff. I said, well, what if we could put together something where you were able to use that to invest in real estate, and then I could set up a bookkeeping service for you that would pay your bills out of the passive income that it would generate? And he went, well, now that's an idea, but I don't know what I want to invest in. I said, well, I'm sure it's medical. Is there something medical? How about you think about it, and you come back and talk to me about it? So he went to work that day, and several other doctors had the same situation, and they started talking about it. And they said, you know, we really would like to build a new pediatric wing here at the hospital. And so he came back and he said, can we pool our money together and build this pediatric wing? And I went, well, I don't see why not. Of course, you know, I'm young and dumb, and I don't know anything about it. At that time, I didn't even have anybody that did loans for people. I said, well, let's just start asking around. And I found a mercantile bank downtown, Mr. Thornton, or Thornton Freeway. I'm sure you've heard of him.
Of course.
He said, well, it's a good cause, and we'll loan them the money even though they don't know what they're doing. And I said, well, I hate to tell you, but neither do I. And he said, well, we'll help you a little bit then. And so they put the whole thing together for me, really. I made it look good. You know, I just stood in front and went, see? You know, and and then they built the pediatric wing. So I thought that was pretty cool.
That's awesome. You know, but see, the thing that I think is so amazing is having your money make money for you gives you options.
Oh, absolutely.
It gives you options. It gives you freedom. It gives you, it allows you to be able to do things that you didn't think that you could do. And there are so many situations like that. There are so many people out there right now, and I know you out there that you haven't started investing in real estate because you think you can't. I mean, that's the thing.
There's so many people that think that's just not a possibility. And if you just sit down and you know, it's like somebody's always said, the old adage, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. And it's not something you're going to jump in and do the whole thing right now. It's something that you're going to work at. You know, not everybody can do that big investment. Maybe you can, and good for you if you can, because I certainly have investments for you. I got a lot of those. But, you know, the other ones, those are more of my... those are the ones that make my heart feel good when I can help those guys.
Well, and there's so many people that are out there. So one of the things that we do, and I was telling Suzanne about it, is we have a book of every 2 weeks, every 2 months, we're doing this book, a different book. And we read for January and February, we read Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. It was phenomenal. The last 2 months, we were reading the John C. Maxwell's,
Do you know that Melissa Castile does the movie Think and Grow Rich?
Oh, and it's amazing. I mean,
she shows
it's amazing.
that like every month.
Okay, well, I got to look into that. But here's what we want to talk about today, and that's most people are living in an illusion based on someone else's beliefs. And to me, that ties right in to what we're talking about today is people are living a life based on what they believe other people think they should be doing.
Or what other people have told them they should be doing.
And to your point that at the very beginning of the show, that's, you said you were a teacher. You went to college because that's what your parents said, that Suzanne, that's what you need to be. And so that's what she went and did. And I think most people are actually living their lives that way, that somebody's told them this is what you're good at, this is what you love doing, and go be on your way and go and do that. And they're living somebody else's life. They're not living fully, and they're not happy and fulfilled, and you can never be happy and fulfilled.
No, you can't live anybody else's dreams for you. Your dreams have to be your dreams, and that's the same thing with real estate. What I may think might be great for you, if it's not something that you're comfortable with, then it's not great for you.
Right. I totally. So, we're gonna just briefly get into the Ask Jen's question, and then we're gonna go into our Laughter is the Best Medicine. So every week I have great guests that come on, and I have people that ask me questions all the time. I do 5 live events every month. I do 4 of these shows, and then I do 4 other shows. People are always asking me questions, and this is a question that I've gotten a lot, which is one of the reasons why I had Suzanne come on the show. And that is, where do I go to start investing in real estate? The first thing I say is, number 1, give yourself a pat on the back that you're thinking about investing your money. Second thing is, do find a professional. Don't try to do that alone. It is something that you need expertise, you need wisdom, you need guidance, you need direction. Do some research. Interview some people, ask them for referrals and references, and then when you find the right person, just do what they say. Do what they say, and I promise you, you will be so happy that you did. And I'm personally going to say, if you don't have someone, Suzanne Johns. I mean, at least give her an opportunity, have a conversation with her. And I love it when you said, hey, if I'm not the right person, that's okay. I'm okay.
That's right.
You're going to learn something along the way. I have no doubt about it. And definitely, I'm like, Suzanne, don't go too far because I need to talk to you with my husband. All right. So laughter is the best medicine. One of the things that I think is so important is that we laugh every day. I mean, I don't know about you, Suzanne. I know you laugh all the time because we laugh together. But I want to laugh hard every day. It's not every once in a while. I love the belly laugh. I love where you're snorting laugh. I love where you're peeing. I mean, I love laughing.
Oh my.
I love laughing.
Snorting laugh.
And because I just think it's so important. I truly do believe laughter is the best medicine. There's so many benefits physiologically that happen in your body when you laugh.
That's right.
And so what I do is, for my guest, I say, hey, is there a video that you want to share? And of course, Suzanne has a great video, and we're going to tell you right up front that if you're watching live, this is going to be great. It's amazing. It's a video from Ron White. There's no profanity in it. I can't believe it. But Suzanne found one. But there's a possibility that if you're watching on recording, that we had to take it out, and we'll put the link in the comment box. But here is Ron White, Laughter is the Best Medicine.
So anyway, I flew here from Flagstaff because my manager doesn't own a globe. I flew here on a plane that big. Like a pack of gum with 8 people in it. We took off from the Flagstaff Airport Hair Care and Tire Center there. We're traveling at half the speed of smell. We got passed by a kite. There was a goose behind us, and the pilot was going, "Go around." We get halfway to Phoenix, we got to go back. It's a 9-minute flight. Can't pull it off with this equipment. We had some engine trouble. We lost some oil pressure in one of the engines, and they told us about it over the speaker system of the plane, which was stupid because they could have just went, "Hey, we lost some oil pressure." Heard ya. It was weird. Everybody on the plane was nervous, but I'd been drinking since lunch, and I was like, "Take it down. I don't care." You ever had one of those days? It's something hard. I don't want to limp away from this wreck. The guy sitting next to me is losing his mind. Apparently, he had a lot to live for. He goes, hey man, hey man, if one of these engines fails, how far will the other one take us? All the way to the scene of the crash. Which is pretty handy, because that's where we're headed. I bet we beat the paramedics there by a half hour.
Funny. Okay, so
I love that.
Listen, both Suzanne and I said we've paid Ron White a lot of money, and I know he loves us. Ron White, I used to watch him on Periscope all the time. I mean,
Oh, really?
seriously, he loves me. He loves Suzanne. So hopefully, let's cross our fingers they don't take that off.
Yeah, they'll leave it.
But one thing I want to say is thank you so much, Suzanne, for sharing your wisdom and just a little bit about your experience. And I want to tell everybody, we've got an event coming up May 4th. It's the Beauty, Brains, and Business event. We're going to show, these are just some of our event partners, and we're going to leave this up for a little bit because I want you to see, we've got Lorna Jane, we've got Legacy Event Productions, Safari Law, So Very Christie, Advanced Surgical Care, Spectrum CBD, Angela Deaton, Purpose Tea, Cabby, Sell Yourself for Success, On Air Media, Dr. Ken Smart. We've got Rita Wortham, who is incredible. We've got Christy Gabor. Let's see, SRD Looks, Pumming Dynamics, and we've got Biz Coach. And also we have, hold on, am I not seeing Robin Abear's Dynamic Interiors? I don't know. I'm going to have to make sure I've got that on there. But these are just some incredible people. The event is going to be on May 4th. And we're going to be facilitating life teams. But here's what I want to tell you, since I've got Suzanne Johns here with us, is we are going to have 4 to 5 post events. These events are going to be fundraising events. We are raising funds for Nancy Lieberman Charity, and we're also going to be raising funds for the Track Dynamite Club, as well as potentially some other 501c3 charities. But our very first post event is going to be on money, and Suzanne Johns is going to be one of our experts. So you're going to get her live. You're going to be able to ask her as many questions as you want. You're going to get to go deeper, and that event is going to be on May 18th. Stay tuned because we will be providing you more information. She's checking to make sure she's got it in her calendar. But
Yeah.
we want
Oh
to
my
say thank you so much for all of you that have tuned in. Please share this show. Please subscribe to the Jens Johnson YouTube channel. Please let me know if there are topics that you're interested, if you've got a question that you want to have answered, or if you potentially would like to be a guest on the show. Whatever we can do to help you be big, be bold, and be you, we want to do that. So until we meet again next Monday, 3 p.m. Central, please do be big, be bold, and be you. Bye-bye.